into it, it's sand. It's disgusting. It's not a fun place. There are camels too. All right, they can walk a long distance between water. All right, that's about all you got there in a desert. So in this one area, it was a very fruitful area. And at that point, God's leading the people of Israel into that promised land. Now, he was leading them there, and then what happened? Moses' generation, they did some stuff that God told them because of the stuff that they had done, they weren't allowed to enter into that. So, when Moses and his generation died off, leading up into Joshua chapter 4, you have got Joshua, whom God has commissioned to be in charge, leading the people into that promised land. He leads them up this place called the Jordan River. All right? The Jordan River. Now, I've been to the Jordan River. The Jordan River is not even as wide as in the park that I was at anyways, the parks that I saw, as this theater is wide. All right? It's not even that wide. In fact, the part of Jordan is probably from this wall to the drum set. It was not that wide, but it was deep in different areas. It was very deep. So, what happened? The people couldn't just cross over on that. And God, to prove that he was leading them into this place, that he was going to provide for them. Remember, there were giants in this land. They were scared to death of it. But Joshua's going to go in there. He's going to lead them to victory in there. To prove that, God says, hey, you know what? The Ark of the Covenant, you know what? When they get their feet in the water, when the people who are carrying the Ark of the Covenant get in the water, it's going to stop. Whenever the people, one person from every tribe of Israel comes, puts their feet in the water's going to stop flowing. All right? We're going to do something cool here. We're going to turn off the faucet, and the water's going to stop flowing. All right? And you guys are going to be able to cross over on dry land. So what happens? That exact situation happens. They cross over on dry land, completely safe. All right? And that's where we lead ourselves up to in Joshua chapter 4. So Joshua chapter 4 says this. All right? When all the nation had finished passing over the Jordan, that's all the nation. There's a ton of people there. The Lord said to Joshua, take 12 men from the people, from each tribe a man, and command them, saying, take 12 stones from here, out of the midst of the Jordan, from the very place where the priests' feet stood firmly, and bring them over with you, and lay them down in the place where you lodge tonight. Then Joshua called the 12 men from the people of Israel, whom he had appointed a man from each tribe. And Joshua said to them, pass on before the ark of the Lord your God into the midst of the Jordan, and take up each of you a stone upon his shoulder, according to the number of the tribes of the people of Israel, that this may be a sign among you. Okay, again, so what's happening here? You've got this situation. Stupid little bottle. All right. You got this situation. So, God commands Joshua to take one person from each of the how many tribes of Israel? 12 tribes of Israel to go and grab a rock. All right? A rock probably bigger than this, because they had to put them on their shoulder to carry them. All right? I don't need to do this. I can put this in my back pocket. It's a small stone. They had big stones. They had to put on their shoulders to carry these stones away. And so the 12 men take 12 stones for what? For this very purpose right here. And this is where we're going to wind up tonight. In verse 6. That this may be a sign among you. It says, when your children ask in time to come, what do those stones mean to you? Now think about that as a small child. I have small children who ask me every question they can possibly think of. Okay? It gets incredibly annoying. I'm just going to say. Poor little Aiden, he likes to finish everything with, right, Daddy? Because, it's like, Daddy, that exit under there's red, right, Daddy? But that's not it. And the other part is white, right, Daddy? Yes, sir. Yeah, it sure is. And the door frame is blue, right, Daddy? Yes, sir. The door frame is blue. Well, is that wood? That wood's brown, right, Daddy? Yes, sir. That wood is brown, son. You know your colors really well. Well, how about that seat, Daddy? Is that seat purple? It's purple, right, Daddy? Yes, son. Hey, Aiden, look outside. Count the number of trees that go by. Anyway, so you try to distract him any way that you can. You get him to stop asking questions. I can just imagine a small child coming up to his dad and asking him, Dad, that's a pretty random thing right there. There's 12 stones sitting there. What in the world are those all about? Children are. They're very inquisitive. They're all around. They're finding stuff that they shouldn't find and getting into things they shouldn't get into. And all of a sudden, a small child, a son, let's say, comes up to his dad and says, Dad, what are these stones about? why in the world are these stones here? And this is what God told them to say to their children. It says this: you shall tell them that the waters of the Jordan were cut off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord. Now, what did the ark of the covenant of the Lord represent? It represented the presence of God. It's very significant. So when they had the ark of the covenant of the Lord with them, it represented the very presence of God with them. And when it passed over the Jordan, the waters of the Jordan were cut off. So these stones shall be to the people of Israel a memorial forever. A memorial forever. So God, realizing the feeble minds of the Israelites, commanded them to go and take something and build an altar out of 12 stones that would help them remember what God